Guys, today I have another RC that I want to unbox for you guys. So let's dip inside this box and see what we got. Inside the box, we got some extra parts here. Stickers. Guys, the sticker sheet look real nice. Lots of stickers here. Pretty cool. Let's take a look and see what's inside this bag right here. We get a lot of scale stuff in here, guys. Quite a bit of stuff in here. We got gas tanks, jack, fire extinguisher, lots of stuff on this parts tree. We got your winch, spade, tow hook. All right, let's put this down and see what else we got in the bag. All right, that's it for the bag. So here we got some more pieces, rocket launcher, an AK-47. Whoa, guys, sniper, man, and a bunch of pieces here. All right, so this is all what comes in that package. Let's get down inside the truck and see what time it is. So we're just gonna flip the box around, see what's going on. We get some more stickers here, Toyota stickers. Pretty cool Toyota here, guys. I already got the red one, pretty nice. So I just thought I'd show you around the box so you see what's going on. All right, let's open this up. So guys, this is the Land Cruiser new upgrade Toyota official license product. So let's get down in this box and I'll show you what comes inside here. First thing what pop out of this box, guys, is the gears for inside of the gearbox. And we got some dry shafts, metal dry shafts with sleeves and grub screw and one Allen key. We got another bag here with a bunch of parts. Let's get down inside this truck. We got the remote at the bottom here. Standard remote, guys. Take two AA battery at the bottom. Pretty simple. Remote off and on. Steering trim right here. And these buttons is for your light and the low speed and the high speed. All right, let's check out this truck. Check this out, guys. Nice black. Well set up with a cage at the back. We have to put in all the pieces. Pretty cool. I liking this. Yeah, nice. So guys, check this out. You can open up the sides here at the cab at the back. Both sides can be opened up. Pretty nice details here. And your battery is right up front here. I really like how they set up this one, guys. It's pretty nice. So this is your battery. Pretty cool. Underneath the truck, guys, as you see, is all plastic. We got the metal dry shafts that we can put on here, and the wheels are pretty stiff and the wheels are just sitting on the rim, so we can just remove this and put some different tires. Got a spare tire at the back. The shocks is just regular plastic shocks at the front, and at the back here we got lift spring and we got shocks. So it's pretty nice. I like it. And of course, you got your interior inside. Pretty cool. We got a lot of scale stuff that we got to put on this truck. Door handles, gas cap, all these things to make it look really scale out, you know. So far, this is a 12 scale Land Cruiser Toyota. I really like it, guys. Set up real nice. Yeah, beautiful. All right, we're gonna put the battery in and power in the remote and see how it works on the bench right here. As I plug in the battery, guys, the lights start flashing. Same thing at the back. So this is a bit different here from the original one that I have, the red one. The red one got no tail lights, guys. Pretty nice that they put some tail lights on and your headlights. And you could put some fog lights at the bottom here. All right, so let's drop some battery in the remote and see how this truck functions. Take two AA battery, guys. All right, we got vibes. Nice. As you can hear, the ESC is pretty loud, guys. And when you're going in the reverse gear, you got reverse light. Nice. I like that. And your brake light is always on. You got indicator when you turn the steering. Nice. It's pretty responsive, huh? So this button right here is for your 2-speed. So let me turn this over so you can see the difference. So this one is your high speed. That's your low speed. Pretty cool that they give you a thumb steer on the steering, you know. And this one here is to turn your light on or off. Nice. So this is what this to switch for. One is for the high and low gear, or the high speed and low speed, and one is for turning the light on and off. Yeah, but pretty low, guys. So of course, I'm gonna put a HobbyWing 16 inside this truck, the Mini 16, and we're gonna get some vibes. But I just wanted to show you guys how this thing performs straight off the box, you know. So yeah, so far I like it. The design is pretty nice here. I like that they give you that, you know, kind of tray at the back for the cab, and all the pieces you just have to clip on here, you know. So we're gonna put on all the scale parts. We're gonna change the drive shafts. I'm even thinking, guys, I'm gonna put a portal axle up front here. All right, let's start making some changes, guys. I'm gonna remove that body. We're gonna put on the drive shafts. We're gonna put a HobbyWing motor in here. So now we're gonna remove the body, guys. 2 screws up front here. And we got 2 screws at the back here. Those screws at the back is a bit smaller. And we got 2 screws in the middle here. And now we can lift off this body. Pretty easy, guys. Gonna pull this plug here for the battery, and we're gonna pull this one here for the lights. And the chassis is off. Guys, now we're gonna remove the drive shaft. And now we're gonna remove the motor. And there goes the motor, guys. Guys, we're gonna pull out all the electronics in here. I don't think that would work for me anymore. We'll remove that switch. So guys, I have quite a bit of parts here for this truck. I have this whole set here, or we definitely work on this truck. And somehow I want to put portal up front. So I'm going to try to mix and match with these pieces here. Let me show you what's inside here. Let's take a look inside this and see what we got. So we got these axles here. Well, we definitely work on this truck. There we go. Got all metal links. Got all the hardware to put this together. So that is for the front. And we got the shocks. The shocks is not oil-filled shocks, so I'm not going to use the shocks. And we got even metal mount for the shocks right here. We got metal mounts, and we got links. So we can make everything metal. We even got dry shafts, comes in this bag. And there's your back differential. So I'm still in the mix here, trying to figure this out. And plus we got this portal, what can definitely work on this truck on the front. So maybe I'll use this too, just the back differential and the front portal axle. All right, let's see how this works out. Guys, I'm gonna go ahead and scrap this chassis, take off the differential. We're going to deal with the front one first. Remove these wheels. And then I'm gonna remove the back wheels also. Just gonna clean up this chassis. We're gonna give this truck a complete makeover, you know. So when we take it on the trail or the rocks, we'll have awesome performance. All right, so now I clean up this chassis. I can see everything that I'm doing here. We're gonna take off the back differential, and to remove that, it's pretty easy. We just have to take off the screws. There's a couple of screws holding this. Pretty simple. We're gonna take off the shocks first. It's pretty hard to pop the shocks out there, guys. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take off this spring lift here. Remove the screws on the side. All right, so there we go. Now the shocks don't want to come out just like that, so I have to remove it from the back here. Okay, so we get the back differential off. Now we can move on. Guys, we're gonna be putting on this differential here. So to make it easy, as we remove one piece from this one, we're gonna put it here, so we remember where everything is going. All right, so now we're gonna scrap this one. We need to get these shocks out. It's pretty tight, but we don't need to. We could just remove the whole piece and put it right there. Okay, so let's start scrapping this, guys. Let me show you how it goes. I'm going to remove the leaf spring. So we're using these pieces of plastic back on the metal differential. So all these pieces will be going back here. So guys, as I'm here, I'm going to take a look inside of this diff right here and see if you got any grease. Might as well do it as we on the table instead of we're going to put it up and wondering about it, you know. So let's check it out. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, it's got a bit of grease in there. Not much, but it's got some. All right, so I'm going to put some grease to make it much more, you know, quiet. And there we go. We got our grease here. We're just going to put some inside of this diff right here. And we're going to put some on this cover right here. So you have on the both sides. All right. So now we're going to slap this back together. Pretty easy and simple. I hope I did it right. All right. It will look like this. Yeah, that's it. All right. That was pretty easy right there. All right, nice and smooth. We're going to put all the screws and bolt this up. All right, that felt good, guys. We got thick grease in there. Nice. Guys, this is how I decide to set this up. I'm going to put the spring on top this time. You see the spring is at the bottom in this one. I'm going to put it on top. So the differential is at the bottom. So I'm going like so, just like that. All right, so I just wanted to show you guys how I'm doing this. So I need to get the hardware for this differential right here. And the hardware for this differential would be those. Pretty easy to deal with, you know. Just want to catch that one first. Then I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom here with this piece to make sure everything stays in place. And then we got to start to tighten up. So we have to change these two screws here. They cannot go inside this metal differential. So we have these screws that can fit there. So here's a little note here, guys. Because I'm putting the spring on top now, you just have to turn this around, you know. So I put the plastic at the bottom here and the piece of metal on top. Okay, so let's finish tightening on this. All right, so we get the back differential all set up. Now we can put that back up on the truck. I'm gonna slide this in between here. That we got these two pieces of plastic, which is like a bushing. We got the screws that we're gonna run through them. All right, so we got this little bushing, what coming right over here. It's pretty small, so let's pick it to be giving you a little bit of trouble. But you push that right over there, and then you got this screw to push right through the hole. Pretty easy, as long as you get that bushing inside there. All right, that's it. So we get one side back together. Let's do the other side. It's pretty easy, guys. I'm gonna put that little bushing right over here, right there. All right, so we get the two front up. Now we just have to put that screw at the back here, just like that. All right, let's get the back piece on. Got that little fine screw here. Push that through that hole, just like that. Do the same thing over here. All right, so we got the back differential up, and then two screws would come here to hold the shocks. Pretty easy, guys. So it seems to have a lot of stiffness, you know. I don't know if I might have to cut this spring, you know. It's pretty stiff. Get these two screws up on the shocks and take a good look and see how this thing turn out. This one, let's get the other one in. It's pretty stiff, guys. Might have to make some other adjustments here. Guys, I'm thinking I have to make a little bit of adjustment here. Like right here, where it passed at the bottom, I'm gonna have to pass it in the middle. So I'm gonna pull one off. Gonna try to pass that in the middle there. Maybe I didn't even have to take up the screw, guys. Put that screw back. Do the same thing on the other side here. Gonna pull this back and pass it right there. All right, that feel better. It's got that spring back that I'm looking for now. Much better. All right, so we get the back differential up. Let's move on to the front. As I say, I'm going to try to put this portal and see what happens. Whole thing just pop off, guys. All right, so we get the whole thing off. And now we can see if we can get this one line up here. Just like that, guys. Guys, I have a couple pieces here that I could make work, you know. So we have the front and upper and lower arms, and we have some shocks. We have the bracket for the servo and for the arms to go into. And we have some shock towers here. I think the shocks would be able to fit in there. So we're gonna go ahead and set up this differential first. Let's put the diff together and then we'll start putting on new pieces. So right here we're gonna put on this piece, which is for the servo on the upper and lower links. All right, so that fit in perfect there. We got some hardware here for it. All right, so we get the servo mount up and we can put all the trailing arms on now, which is these arms here. So all the links are same, guys. So I don't think we have an issue with one being, you know, different than the other. Yep, just like that. And they give you the hardware for it. So I'm gonna put this hardware on this side here so I don't mix it up. But this is how simple this thing is going to get in. Guys, there is 4 short screws with 4 washers. So you put that in here like that. And this will go on the arm. All right, that's it. So we just have to put all 4 arms up. I gotta say, everything is coming together nicely, guys. Pretty easy to put together. Everything is pretty small. All right, so we got 2 together. We got 2 more to go. Okay, so we got the differential up with all the links. We got the servo to go in here. Let's put this up on the chassis. All right, so it looks like I have to make one change here, guys. I have to turn this one inside, those 2 inside, and I think this would be it. Guys, there is a little note. You have to have 2 facing this way and 2 facing that way. So, like so. All right, so now I'm gonna try to bolt that up. All right, that's how we're going, guys. Not bad. So now we take one of the screws. No, I don't think the screws will go back in there anymore, guys. So let's test this and see. Yeah, I don't think these screws would work. So we get some screws here with fine threads. I think this would be the ones. So in the package, they give you 4 fine thread screws. These are the ones that will be going here. Yep, pretty easy. Okay, so let's set this back again. So it looks like we'll have to put a washer here, guys, because the screw is passing through. So we're gonna have to put a washer. All right, guys, so I got a couple washers, what will work to get the screws in there without passing through the hole here. So I got one in there already. All right, so we got 2 down, we got 2 more to go. I got to say, guys, you gotta have patience with these things. They take a lot of time to get it right. So that's all what's going on here. Just patience. Okay, we get the links up with the differential. So we're making headway, guys. So now we're gonna change the shock towers. We're gonna remove these 2 shock towers here. And we got these 2 metal shock towers. We're gonna use the same screw and put back in there. All right, pretty nice. The shock tower seems to be standing a little bit taller than the original one. I don't know why it felt that way, guys, but that's how it felt. Just look a little bit higher, you know. All right, let's change the other one. All right, pretty cool. So now we can put some shocks up and see what happens. This shock here is not oil-filled shocks, but I think it will be better than this one's. Guys, we got to remove this short screw right here so we could put the shocks. All right, so the 2 shocks is up in the front. Pretty cool. All right, so let's move on now. We can get the servo up. We got this new servo here. servo is a perfect fit. I put 2 screws on the servo, guys. So you have to put 2 thin screws in here, guys. Very slim screws right there. Alright, so that completes the servo. We're good to go. And then we could put the servo horn, but we have to center the servo first before we do anything here, so I'm gonna leave that off. Alright, so that's it. Servo setup. Guys, it's time to put up the motor. So we have the motor set up with the dry shafts. We're gonna lay this down. Guys, the receiver is going on 2 and the servo going on 1. Plug this on. Turn this on. All right, we got vibes there. Let's get the controller. So we got vibes, guys. Nice. All right, so we get the electronics working. Let's put up some wheels and see how it works. Guys, to get the front differential to work with some tires, because the back one is different, the front one is different. So I'm using these wheels here and tires from the Ascent 18, and to get it in there cannot fit. I have to open up this hole here, and I'm also using this spacer right here, this hex, to go over here so that could fit inside of the wheel, this wheel spacer, like so. And at the back I got some adapters here, this wheel adapters, and we're just gonna pop it at the back here like so, and that will get this wheel to fit here like that. So I'm making some real conversion to make this work, you know. And of course, as I said, I have to drill this one open. I have to drill the rim. Let's do this right now so I can show you. Just like that, open up the hole so you can go through here. There you go. So we get that split pin and we push that through here, get that hex. And then that's it. Put the nut up. And this is how we can get this axle to work on these wheels. And at the back here, to get the other wheel up, we use the hex, the adapter hex at the back here. And that's it. And we'll put another one right here and pop another wheel. Just like that. Guys, it came with some metal gears, so I decided to open up the gearbox and put that metal gears inside there. And we remove the plastic ones. It's pretty easy and simple, guys. Guys, I decided to go all out and put a aluminum gearbox. So I think this will do much better than the plastic, because what I noticed happening here, because of the metal links pushing the plastic gearbox to the right, and that is causing the dry shaft to rush on the motor. And see that, making a big dent on the motor right there. So I decided to change that out. So this aluminum gearbox would hold the motor exactly where it needs to be, so no more twisting. So let's put this in there, get rid of the plastic one. Even though I put the metal gears in there, I'm not going to use it anymore. So what I need here is these 2 screws. That's all I need from this plastic gearbox. And then we're just going to close this up and put it aside. Alright, so we're going to put this gearbox aside and move on with the aluminum gearbox. We're not going to be using this one anymore. Alright, so let's open up this one here. Alright, there we go. All aluminum gears, guys. Well, it's a good thing I opened up this thing. There is a screw sitting inside this gearbox. See this? See that screw just chilling there? Alright, this is out. So this gearbox now need a plate at the back here, because you have this little loop on him. So I need to get that plate. Guys, the original gearbox have that plate behind it here. So I'm going to remove all the pieces and take off that plate. This is what we need here, guys. All right, guys, let's put this plate in the back of the gearbox right there. And I'm gonna pass the motor at the back here, just like that. So I like to take my pick and make sure I get that hole that I'm looking for right there. And then I can line up the other one. Now we can drop that screw in that hole. I'm not going to tighten it down all the way. Just want to make sure one of the screws get in there so I can put the other one before I start tightening down all the way. Alright, so I got it. So now I can tighten this screws. Alright, and now I can drop these gears and them in there. Pretty simple and easy. Just like that, guys. Everything is moving. Alright, so the gearbox and the motor is back together. Now we can put up the drive shafts. Alright, perfect. So we're ready to put it back up. So now I'm gonna pass the drive shaft on in here. And we're gonna sit that motor and that gearbox down. Now I feel a little bit tighter, guys, because of the gearbox is all metal and you have that plate. So if you notice what's happening here, we're touching this piece of plastic. So we're gonna have to cut a piece of plastic off to make that fit snug. So simple, we're just gonna take a piece off right here, no big deal. Right, that's it. Let's see if he's gonna sit down much better now. Alright, he's sitting down much better, but there's a piece at the bottom here that I need to remove. Much better. So we have 2 screws to put up on the gearbox. Let's do this. Alright, so the gearbox sit down pretty nice with the motor. Now we can put in the drive shafts. Alright, we're back together, guys. Now let's test it and see how it works. Let's put in the battery. Turn on the power. Alright, we got vibes. Perfect. Alright, so we got it working. Perfect. No more the drive shaft touching the motor because now the gearbox is firm. It's not twisting anymore. Alright, so now we can move on to the next step, guys. Guys, this is how far I got with it. So I change around the portal and I put this axle here. This one worked much better. The portal was pushing the whole thing up too much in front, like all the way up here. So I decided to put the axle what really meant for it. And I put some smaller shocks at the back and longer ones in front. So I'm thinking now I want to drop this low, and by doing so, this wheel gonna touch the bumper. So I'm gonna cut this. See, I'll have a bit of touch in there. So I'm gonna do a bit of cutting here to make that work for me, because I really want it to sit low. So I'm gonna cut this piece off right here. Right, that is much better. Still gonna take piece off. I really want to clear that wheel. I really like performance, guys. So piece of plastic is not gonna stop my vibes, you know. Yeah, gotta clean that up until I get all the clearance that I need. Make sure nothing stop that tire from clearing. Alright, that's what I'm looking for. And now I'm gonna shape that piece like so. I'm gonna take a piece off here and I'm gonna smooth that out. Alright, that looking. Check this out. Much better. Still gonna take a piece off. Alright, that's it. I think I finally got it, guys. Yeah, with clearing. And then I'm gonna shape this piece right here. Guys, I'm using the hot iron to smooth out this fender. Alright, so this is what I'm doing, guys, making it smooth as possible. I did this side over here, and I'm gonna shape up the other side much better. Guys, I have some shocks here from Enduro. I'm gonna try that shocks up front and see if you work better than those that I already have. Those are oil filled shocks. So, whoa, come on. There we go. So I'm gonna put 2 up front, remove the red ones, and see how that works. Check this out, guys. I put one of the shock in, so this feels much better than this one over here. So can't wait to see what it's gonna do. So here's the difference, and this is the Enduro here. Much softer and drop the vehicle much lower. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove that shock here. So this shock right here, spring is pretty tight. And it's not oil fill shock, so you get rid of that one. And we're gonna put in the Enduro. Yeah, so I definitely know that we're gonna get a better ride with this one. So right here, I just put in a few washers on this screw so you don't pass through the shock. All right, so we get the shocks up. Pretty cool. Check it out, guys. See how low it's sitting? Yeah, I feel like I get it where I want it to be. Pretty nice. Nice and low. Guys, I'm removing the body because I'm thinking I'm going to put some lights because we're using LiPo battery now. The original battery was nickel hydride battery, so we cannot use the lights anymore. It's just going to burn them out, you know? So just removing the body so I can put some lights on this truck. Guys, I'll be using the same wire, so I'm just going to cut these plugs off here. And we're going to remove this socket board here. Alright, so now we got to get to this light sockets in the front and at the back. And then we're going to put some lights in there. Alright, so guys, I'm going to start taking off some pieces here to get to the lights. Guys, to get this lights out here, this piece of clear glass, I had us to pry it out from behind, and it was pretty hard to come out. But the cool thing about this, when you remove it, they already have a hole here for a 5mm light. So you can just remove this, which I'll just take that off. I'm just gonna cut that off, and I'm gonna use the same wire to put in my new light. So I'm gonna put a 5mm right here, and we're gonna put a 3mm right there, and that should get my lights going. Guys, to get the driver to fit, I just put a rubber band and double it up and set him down in there, you know? So this is what that is. Just thought I'd show you guys this. Just fold the rubber band in 2, pass it around his waist, and he hold him pretty snug, not going anywhere. Alright guys, so we finished with the action figure inside. So we got our driver, and now I just want to show you guys the lights that I'm going to be using. These lights here to connect up on this vehicle. Guys, so this is how I'm doing the lights. I'm just cutting these lights, the wire like right here. And I'm doing the same thing with this one right there. So this is as much of the wires that I'm using from these lights. And then I'm going to take the piece over here and connect up these lights. I already do 2 right here. And I'm using this type of plugs to just put into the receiver so the light could be working. And to get this off, we just have to push the piece at the back here. Just have to push that off, and it's gonna pop that light off. The light shade, it's gonna take that off, and then you have your light. So I'm gonna cut that off. We're not using this. And then it's 2 black wire, 1 red wire. Just gonna strip one off and peel this wire off. Do the same thing on those here. Just gonna peel them off. And all I gotta do now is connect the black to the black. Just gonna twist them on together. All right, so we put the yellow on the white. Just twist it like that. And we put the black on the black. All right, just like that, guys. But before I put this together, I'm gonna put some shrink wrap over the wire. So when I solder it up, I can pull the shrink wrap over. I got this case in here with the shrink wrap. I choose this one. Take this much. You don't need much to put over it, you know. All right, so now I can twist these wires together. The yellow on the white is going on the red. All right, that twist is enough. All right, let's solder one side first, and then we're gonna move on to the other one. All right, so we get one side together. Now we can move on to the other side. We gotta remember to put that shrink wrap over that wire. And then we're gonna twist all three together. And now we can put some solder on that wire. That's it, guys. Get the wires together. So now we just pull that shrink wrap over the area where we solder and do the same thing with this one. All right, pretty cool. And then I'm gonna use the iron again just to pull the shrink wrap together. All right, that's it. And the next step now is to put that wire right here. Guys, at the back here, I removed the brake lights at the back. Just 2 screws holding it down. And I'm gonna take that off and I'm gonna put red lights at the back here. Hopefully I get it to work perfect. Guys, I already drilled one of the holes inside of this piece of plate here so I can put the light. And I'm gonna do the same thing in this one. This much. All right, so let's see if the light's gonna go through the hole. Perfect. We did it. So I don't need these wires to be here no more. Just pull this off and just gonna put some glue to hold the light at the back there. So I'm just dropping a dab of glue at the back of the light. All right, that much. And I'm gonna spread it around with my pick. All right, that's all we need, guys. And the light is up on the board. So I'm gonna cut this wire, but I'm thinking I'm gonna run this, make this wire into 2. All right, let me show you how this is going. Got this little notch right here. See a little thing right there. So there's a hole that this plate here got to sit down in, and just like that, going in the hole right there. And now we can just put the shade on, and that's it. It's in place. So here's what I end up doing, guys. I soldered up the lights with the wire, and back here it was giving a little issue to get in there. So I take my hot iron and I just burn this area up, just melt it on the both sides, and that solved the problem. So check this out. It goes in there pretty easy now. That's it. So I can put the screws in there and it worked perfect. So I'm gonna screw this up, and then we're gonna connect all the wires to this plug right here, and then I'm gonna plug it on and show you guys how it works. Guys, check out the lights. So I get the back light working and the front light. Pretty cool. Guys, let me share some vibes with you here. I make a real route, like I turn a 90-degree, guys. Where I was heading with this vehicle, I just switch and I decide to go in this direction here. So what I did here, I used my metal chassis from the MN168 and I put the body of the Land Cruiser 79 on this metal chassis. So this is what I did. I did a little snipping and cutting and stuff. That is to open up the fender a little bit to fit the bigger wheels. And to get that vehicle bolt down, I used the exact 2 screw hole up front here. It worked perfect right there. But at the back here, I had us to use some longer screws with some nut, some lock nut. And I bore 2 holes inside of the tray of the vehicle. So the screws in them right there can go through, so I can get the back of the chassis to bolt down on the body, and that worked perfect, guys. So let me show you the original chassis. But before we go there, I just want to tell you guys, you know, I needed some portal because the areas that I crawl, the rocks are pretty jagged. So I just figure the first move that I made with the metal differential and stuff to load onto the ground. All right, so let me show it to you. So this is the original chassis for this body. See how low down it is? I put this axle on and you see how low it is to the ground, guys. The steering arm is pretty low. Everything is just so low to the ground. So I had to drive this vehicle too careful and, you know, navigate a lot through the rocks that I'm running on. So I tell myself, nah, this is not what I really want the end result to be. So I decided to ditch this whole chassis. You know, I set it up pretty nice, you know what I mean? But I decided to ditch the whole chassis, guys. I put the brushless motor with the metal gearbox in there. But guys, I just had us to do something different. You know, I just figure I can do better. And this is what the end result turned out to be. So what do you guys think? Did I make a good decision? And all left for me to do right now is to put on all the scale pieces. It's pretty easy to deal with. You can see exactly where the piece is going, you know. So let's just twist this off here. And this will go like so. Pretty easy, guys. Check this out, guys. Now, when you put in these pieces, you notice there's a broad piece at the bottom, goes here. And the small piece of clip goes on top. So just take note of that. I'm gonna put the small piece up first. Pretty easy. You could also remove this piece right here. Like you can just take it off like so. And you can put the pieces down on the ground. It's just a plastic clip. Just like that, guys. So we get this little parts tray right here in the bag, and this piece right here is for your mirror. Before I put the mirror up, I'm gonna put this glass onto the mirror. Let's get a sticky backing. I'm gonna remove that. And then we're gonna take off the piece of plastic on the top here to give the mirror the shine. And now we're just gonna stick this mirror. There goes your mirror, guys. We have these chrome pieces here. We're gonna remove one of those. And we're gonna stick this right here. There we go. So guys, now we're moving into the snorkel. Gonna take this piece off here. And we're gonna put it on top of this right here, just like that. And your snorkel is coming right on the side here. Guys, we got this little clay piece right here. What will go in this little hole. Check this out, guys. This is the end result. Yo, it's been a nice piece of work to put it together, but I did it. Tell me what you guys think about this. Yo, I think it turned out really good. I like the end result. I put in the time and the work, and this is what it come out to be. Beautiful, guys. And it works pretty fine. Trust me. Crawls nice, and can't wait to take it on the rocks to show you guys. All right, let's hit the rocks and watch this truck work.